Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Welcome to Late Night with the Center. I consolidated Midnight Express and all these other ones down to just that one name. It's just simpler. The one consistent thing that most of our streams do is they stream, because of my schedule, they stream late night. So Midnight Express, Semi-Overnighter, it's generally the same things from roughly at the same nights. So I consolidated both of those names. The ones that we don't have topics when will just be, it'll just say an open Q&A. The other ones that have topics will have obviously thumbnails that you guys see tonight. We got plenty to talk about. We will start. I was not on the air yesterday when this news came through, but obviously the late, great James Earl Jones. If you were on this planet at any time during the last 50 years, it doesn't matter what genre of movie you know you're tied to or your preferences. It doesn't matter. Even if you saw the movies that he was in, you knew who he was. You knew who he was. Even if you had never laid eyes on him, you knew his voice. Most Americans, most people in this world will know him for the voice of Darth Vader. He has a decades-long career of a lot of things that I'm about to list off here in a second. But most people with ears, or who are not deaf, who are, of hearing, will know his voice and will know him as Darth Vader. But he was in plenty of things from all generations. This is one of those guys that every now and then we end up having memorialized. That was literally someone who was in everyone's era. There was no such thing as an era that did not have James Earl Jones existing in it. From Lion King, Field of Dreams, Sandlot. I mean, he was in so many different things. He was in even a young James Earl Jones was in Doctor Strangelove. He was a pilot in Doctor Strangelove. People don't know that, but I've seen that movie so many times. I fought with myself, should I put that thumbnail, one of them, in there? But I didn't think enough people saw Doctor Strangelove or would recognize him from that. What I put in the thumbnail pretty much narrows down what most people know him from. I first saw him in a movie. First feature film that I saw him was Conan the Barbarian, and I hated that motherfucker then, because obviously how Conan the Barbarian opens up, Thulsa Doom comes in, a very brutal scene, and he raids Conan's village, and he beheads his mother as his mother's holding his hand, and they show it. They show his mother's head falling, and from that movie, Conan just hunts him down, and he's excellent in that role. He's excellent. There are obscure movies that people probably haven't seen, where the bright spot in them was probably James Earl Jones coming to America. I mean, this guy was everywhere. I am safe to say, even though this is a science fiction, horror, fantasy centric show, that it didn't matter, who you were. I ran into a guy today, though, shit you not, that did not know James Earl Jones was Darth Vader's voice. But he knew Darth Vader's voice, which means he knew indirectly or directly James Earl Jones. I can't finish The Lion King ever. And I probably won't. I just plenty enough Darth Vader for me to sit through if I want to tribute to James. But there is an entire generation that knows him as Wasaba. There's an entire generation that only knows him from Field of Dreams. As far as his face acting, his voice, you all should know his voice. I mean, Darth Vader is iconic. He is iconic. He's one of those things. If you took that Darth Vader helmet anywhere in this world, I don't care if it's China, Japan, Pakistan, Ireland, doesn't matter where you are. People know Darth Vader, and if you know Darth Vader, you know that voice. Everybody I ran into today, when we were going over it, Luke, I'm your father. They would, they either were reciting Lion King lines, which I didn't know because it's a movie, or they were reciting many of Darth Vader lines. So this man had an impact that was far beyond, and he grew into show business in an age where I like, the era of, we had some problems earlier in our, in the 20th century. We weren't, let's just say, doors weren't open to everybody. This man was born in 1933, lived through Jim Crow, even though he lived in Maryland, he lived in the North and areas like that. We still had issues breaking into show business. I think the majesty of his voice helped him a lot because a lot of people were endeared to him right then and there. And then, it helped break racial grounds. He's in Bruce. He's in a lot of things. And he's just one of those guys that literally everybody you walk to and meet is going to have a James Earl Jones story. Even if they don't know it was like I said, I thought this guy was lying to me today when he said he didn't know that. But you know what? He was legit, but he knew Star Wars. He knew Darth Vader. So if you knew that, you knew James Earl Jones. Welcome into the show, Brad.
Been here a couple of minutes.
You're young. So. Yeah, you're a youngin. I know you weren't alive when the original trilogy first came out, but there's no way.
Oh,
there's no way.
He's
affected your life as much as he's affected mine.
Yeah,
I would dare say.
I put up kind of a little bit of I posted on Twitter a little bit of like listing off like some people know him as Darth Vader, some people remember his voice of Mufasa, some people remember as Mr. Myrtle from Sandlot. One big one that I'll always remember him from was Best of the Best, where he was the Coach Kuzo on the U.S. karate team. So that was definitely one that was very close to my heart and my Taekwondo days. But I mean, even those just scratch the surface. I mean, just like of the impact. I mean, 93 years, and just, I mean, how much was he in the word, just like you said, Thulsa Doom and Conan the Barbarian. That's actually another one. Those a little bit before my time, but that was definitely one that I kind of first saw him as an adolescent. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go pull up this Wikipedia page right now and see if we can see some of the other iconic roles, whether voice acting or whatnot, that he was really. He was also, if you were a fan of The Simpsons, like I was, he definitely heard his voice plenty on there too, and a lot of guest roles and things like the first Treehouse of Horror. He was on there for that.
Yeah. And one other thing that I really, really want, James Earl Jones was an Army lieutenant, by the way. He was an infantry officer. He joined through the Korean War and got his commission just right after the Korean War was ended. I think he got out as a first lieutenant, but he was definitely he definitely wore the uniform. But like many of our actors that are of that age or in their 90s or closing in on 100 did. A lot of people don't know. You know who Jimmy Stewart is, right? Mm-hmm. It's a Wonderful Life and all that. He's been in a lot of stuff. James Stewart was a brigadier general. He was a bomber pilot. And when I say bomber pilot, I say bomber pilot in World War II. Not the high-tech shit we got now. to where we got air superiority in 15 minutes. World War II, if you were flying over Berlin, you were getting shot at. We lost a lot of bombers. We lost a lot of pilots in World War II. They were the main targets of fighter aircraft. And a lot of these guys were serving in Korean wars. They were serving in World War II. Some of them served in, but Ted Williams served in both. In fact, that might have cost him a World Series ring. But one of these guys, and James Earl Jones joined the military and became a commissioned officer just after Truman had desegregated the military. So there was still a lot of friction there. So, like I said, this guy, 93 years old. I mean, I like to say, live as much as you can, as long as you can. But when you have a good run like this, this is how you live a life. This is how you live a full life. This guy had an impact. And from what I can tell from everyone who's ever talked about him, and I've heard the last 48 hours, just a stand-up guy. Was one of those guys you went to for advice,
Yes, I'm looking at like what else. I mean, obviously, he had a career pre Star Wars, but I think everybody kind of like voicing Darth Vader that really, that obviously really launched him. He actually also played that same year. He played Malcolm X in something called The Greatest. Let's see what. I won't hold this against him. The Exorcist too.
Well, you know what? At the time, it seemed like a good idea. That's a horrible movie, but you know what? He's good in it, though.
Yeah.
If he's in a movie and he was talking, that was one of those things that was like, you know what? I could say one good thing about that movie because that movie was wretched.
Yes, it was.
By the way, watch party come Halloween. Remind me, we must do Exorcist 3.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say 3.
We must do fuck Exorcist 2. I'm sorry.
No, we're never doing Exorcist 2.
That movie was
that is one of the worst.
That's not even it's not even spoof good. It's not even good. And Exorcist 3 is a really good movie.
Yeah, it's a real.
That actually scared me.
Yeah, it's a real surprise. Like it's a. You talk about the whole series. It's a real. So it's definitely a surprise. Like coming from like how awful Exorcist 2 is,
and how long it took to make it. I'm not the biggest George C. Scott fan because I was of a generation that didn't get see a lot of his movies. He's really good in this. He's really, and Brad Dourif is really good. And Brad Dourif scared the shit out of me in that movie. That whole scene where he's talking to him in that cell when you realize it's a serial killer jumping from one body. I'm not going to fuck it up for anybody. Mm-hmm. Although it's been almost 35 years since that movie's come out. But we're going to watch that movie. But yeah, James Earl Jones is, like I said, an icon. And like I said, I know the word icon is thrown around, whenever someone passes away or when someone. This is probably one of the ones that it's just undisputedly, that's the guy. I mean, he's literally embedded into American society because in the same way Star Wars is. If Star Wars is a big cultural phenomenon, which it is, even with its boneheaded fan base sometimes, it doesn't matter. James Earl Jones was your voice. And Darth Vader, his voice made him. Yeah, he had the dark, shiny skull mask, with the helmet, and all that. Yes, that he looked scary. But that voice shook you from the first time you heard it. That voice shook you. That wasn't Anakin Skywalker. The biggest difference with Anakin Skywalker is not the costume, not the suit, it's the voice. That voice never, even when he turned back and he saved Luke, hearing that voice is like, nah, you're still an ass, you're still evil, dude. I can never shake that voice. And he played. He played in some Tom Clancy movies, Field of Dreams. A lot of people are talking to Dave, even though they knew him from Star Wars.
Aaron just mentioned he's in Field of Dreams.
Yeah, Field of Dreams. Listen,
I probably haven't seen that movie since I was like 8 years old. God, that's been a long time.
I know there's a lot of people. Grown men were crying in that theater. I'm like, but I know there's a lot of people who put Kevin Costner on a high pedestal. He's an Academy Award winner. He shouldn't have won it that year, by the way. It should have been Godfather 3. But I'm not the biggest fan of Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner to me in that movie is just some other guy. James Earl Jones is that when the guy, the landlord, is giving the speech about, they're going to foreclose on you this. And just giving him all the reasons why he needs to sell. And then on the other side of him is James Earl Jones telling him, giving that whole speech about, we've been through all this. We've been through wars. We've been through this, we with that. The one constant in baseball. And he points to all the guys that stand behind him. And this is a constant in the grave that you build it, they'll come. And he sits down and he looks at that. That's that whole thing right there. A lot. If you've never seen Star Wars, which is some people haven't, I just got to come to reality. Some people haven't seen. They're gonna see it, but they haven't. A lot of people have seen Field of Dreams that haven't seen Star Wars. Science fiction, fantasy just may not be their thing. But that movie, I remember that movie was released. That movie struck a lot of chords because baseball is considered to be one of the things that for decades bound us, even in racial tension areas. Right, the two biggest organizations that desegregated before anybody else did, while Jim Crow was still riding high, was the U.S. military in 1947 and Major League Baseball. Those two organizations led the way. So he's tied to both of them because he was a U.S. officer, a U.S. Army officer, in a just freshly desegregated military, and then he's playing the sport that helped desegregate the society as far as how we perceive people. So yeah. Well, James Earl Jones is, like I said, this was that guy. And like I said, I know once you start getting into your 90s, that's why it was so important for me this last Star Trek convention to make sure that I got to see and shake hands and stand next to William Shatner, because he's the same age as James Earl Jones. He was in much better health, though. I don't know what's going on with William Shatner, Ernie Hudson, all these guys. They weren't wheeling William Shatner from side to side. William Shatner was like spry William Shatner. William Shatner was cracking jokes and poking fun at people that were nervous as shit when they were like, Mr. Shatner, Mr. Shatner. He's like, relax. I'm like, I hear a lot of things about Shatner. But when you meet, they all may be true, but when I met him and when I saw him interacting with people, he was fun to be with. But I know for years, though, James Earl Jones had some health issues. As you know what, if you make it to your 90s, it's a good chance.
Yeah.
If you can put a 9 or a 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put a 1 or a 9, 100 or 9 next to my name and live the quality of life that he lived for most of his life. Carry on, man. So
yeah. List off a few more kind of his career highlights. Best Conan the Barbarian. I was still start.
Brad continued to read, but I'm seeing it again. Guys, I love you for loving me on Twitter, but I want you to scan this right here. Come home.
And when you do, don't watch the last couple watch parties we did. Don't watch.
Make sure you watch.
Don't watch that one.
Here.
Don't watch that bullshit. Okay, so watch the real meat and potatoes. Which
Brad
is
on a crusade, by the way.
William was teasing me.
It's behind by 3, so you're still behind.
No. William was teasing me. It's like
Disaster movie has 101. You have 99.
No. It's
anyway, guys. Before Brad drives us off the cliff, please scan this code and come home. Come to YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and
it's ahead.
Repost the link into the chat. So
you guys that are watching I told William, it's like, just ponder the idea that you now have to live with the fact that you willingly played a watch party for one of the worst motion pictures in human history on this channel. It's like you will be telling your grandchildren about that one of these days, and you will have to atone for that.
I probably won't. I won't remember any of this shit.
You will have to atone for the fact that you have sullied willingly the legacy of the Sci-Fi Center by allowing that Drek onto the channel.
We've allowed Dreks on the channel,
so I saved it. I fixed it. I reversed that when I played Live After Fighting. So you guys can think. Anyway, go back to James Earl Jones. Field of Dreams, best of the best. Like I said,
I never saw him in that. I never saw him.
So that's all best of the best, man. That was like, if you are a Taekwondo guy like I was growing up, it's like you saw best of the best. It's like, and Aaron, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about with Best of the Best.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, that's I love that whole series, especially the second one. He was the coach of the first one. Hunt for Red October also.
Hunt for Red October was intense, man.
Yeah. My dad's actually a big Tom Clancy fan. So
yeah, he was in a couple of his movies. He played the Admiral during those series.
Yeah, he's Admiral James Greer. And after that, The Sandlot is Mr. Myrtle. He's also that year.
He played the blind guy.
Excessive Force with Thomas Ian Griffith from Cobra Kai. So, for a career highlight. Oh yeah, he's in a couple of the Naked Gun movies too. And then of course the Lion King, the voice of Mufasa. He narrated, was the narrator of the original Judge Dredd. Because of his voice. I mean, he was
His voice. It's just like
he
what's
was
his
a lot of narration, a lot
Morgan
of
Freeman. Yeah,
stuff.
Morgan Freeman's got that voice. Not Darth Vader, but
Yeah. What else we have here? Yeah, he came back for like a lot of the Lion King animated stuff, including the most actually also not only that, but let me look this up. Oh no, did he not come back for the one that's coming up? Yeah,
no,
the
he's
Mufasa
not in it.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking it's like that's going to be like that. I was thinking that was going to be a posthumous release, but
No, because he's an adult. He's not an adult in that.
It'll probably still have like I would imagine it's going to have like a in memory of James Earl Jones thing.
Oh, definitely. And anything released Star Wars wise needs to have it too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, damn.
Yeah. Let's see what else. That was a career highlight. Let's see. Oh yeah, he introduced Fantasia 2000. He was back for the Sandlot too. Well, Revenge of the Sith. This is interesting because George Lucas has officially maintained he will not reveal officially who voices Darth Vader once he gets the helmet on.
Serious?
Yeah, but he says he will not come out and say, but he also says the quote is something like, "But if you're a true Star Wars fan, you should know the answer to that question."
That's to say, I know the answer to that question.
Yeah, the answer is no shit, Sherlock. Of course it was him.
Why would you be ambiguous? Oh, whatever. All right, so yes, this man was he was worth the first 24 minutes of this show. That's probably the longest we've given to.
By the way, there's just a couple others I wanted to listen. He came back for Rogue One, for the Darth Vader scenes of Rogue One.
Well, yeah, anything Darth Vader, anything that I think he did some video games too.
Yeah. Coming to America. That was actually his last movie. Was Coming to America 2, the second one. Yeah, but
it wasn't good, but it was fun. It was fun. Like I said, Coming to America 2 wasn't that good, but that doesn't show you. Here's the thing: that's two movies right there. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, and Coming to America 2. That's two different sides of the nostalgia bomb. They did it, dude. Axel F. I don't know if you've seen it. I love that movie. That might be, besides the first one, my favorite Beverly Hills Cop movie because it was funny. The jokes hit, the nostalgia hit, and it was blended with a new generation of stuff. Coming to America 2.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just like saying hi to everybody who was still. I'm glad he got to do it though, because that movie meant a lot to him. And that movie meant a lot to Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy. So it was, even if it didn't do all that great, getting the band back together, when you're getting up there in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, do it.
Yeah. He also on his Wikipedia, his final, like the last thing he did in his life, movies, TV, whatever, was Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So he was that for 4 roles. He also
that's right. Yep.
And also, as I mentioned,
you just took that. See how easy to take him for granted because he was that voice. And if you saw Darth Vader's mask and if Darth Vader was talking, you just took it for granted that it had to be James. No one else could do it.
Which is why the whole thing about Lucas being ambiguous about Regiment. Are you kidding me? Of course, we all know it's him.
And I think, and I'm gonna look this up. I think he gave them permission to use that voice when they were using Darth Vader. I think I think that was something that he had planned. I have to look that up because somebody told me that, and I really hope that's true.
Oh, are you talking about that like he gave them permission to like posthumously use
use his voice
to synthesize his voice for future Darth Vader things?
If you ever, and you know how I'm against telling we got to get away from Skywalker, but if Darth Vader is talking in anything you do in the future and it's not his voice, no.
Yeah, it's definitely irreplaceable.
I know people are like, well, it's not. He's dead. He should let him. No. Darth Vader is a character, and that voice belongs to that character. I hope his estate gave him permission. I think they have it already. So. Well, but that would be one of those cases nobody should be arguing against.
Yeah, well, also, I am kind of wondering though how much that kind of that would kind of straddle the line in terms of like the whole AI debate, because that's like voice as opposed to like visual representation.
Yeah.
But
I don't care.
Again, it's like you said, it's his voice is so associated with Darth Vader. It's like how could you How could you not find some way to
Yeah.
replicate that in future Darth Vader appearances? And as I mentioned, also he was on several episodes, including some of the Treehouse of Horror episodes. Yeah, like Treehouse of Horror, he did various narration or voice, like the first Treehouse of Horror episodes on The Simpsons. He was voicing one of the aliens. He voiced he voiced in the first Treehouse of Horror when they do the Simpsons version of the Raven, and he's the narrator for the Raven. So yeah. So he was also associated with it. So again,
that was actually the first. I think that was their first regular. Wasn't that their first regular?
Their first like normal. Well, they had the Christmas episode where they get Santa's Little Helper, and then that was the pilot for when it became like you're talking about, like when it left the Tracy Ullman, became like an actual show. Yeah, that was after they had the Christmas episode with Santa's Little Helper. Then that was the beginning of the series, and that was the first Halloween episode. So. That's when the series, The Simpsons, become a proper series, which again goes to what William was saying about it's like, I mean, the last 3 generations at least knew James Earl Jones in some form or fashion, whether it's Darth Vader, whether it's this role, that role, whatever. You knew his face, and you damn sure knew his voice.
Someone else who passed away, I did not get a chance to add this on, but I never want to do multiple ones, but I do want to give this guy right here. Hold on for you guys, or not. So John Cassidy. If any of you guys have collected comics in the last maybe 30 years or so. He's worked on X-Men. He's worked on. Hold on, I had his list bringing up. I have too many. I feel like fucking ACS now with all these damn tabs. That motherfucker has tabs on top of tabs on top of tabs on top of tabs. Hold on, I'm gonna bring up his. He worked on Astonishing X-Men. He worked on a lot of different things. He was only 53 years old. They don't quite know the cause of death yet, but he had been in the hospital, and one of his family members posted, that the rest of his organs is okay. That was his brain was the concern, which leads me to believe it was a stroke. He worked, some of the things he did: Desperados, Moment Sunlight, C-23, Gen 13, 33, Gen 13. And for me, Scott Campbell created that title, and he was one of the guys that he would let take over and draw for him. Astonishing X-Men, to me, that was where he made his big run, and he would do the giant size editions from 2004 to 2008. He did the first 24 issues of Astonishing X-Men. He did Captain America. He did Fallen Sun, The Death of Captain America, Kazar Flashback, Uncanny X-Men 352. He was with Uncanny Avengers, the first 4 episodes of that. Action Comics 1000, I actually have that issue. Transmetropolitan, Teen Titans, Superman, Batman, I Am Legion, Flash. I needed a lot of independent stuff too. Dark Horse, back when Dark Horse was a smaller independent. Hellboy, World Turtles, Negative Burn, probably one of the things that he did for Caliber Press. That was the same press that put out The Crow. Multiple Eisner Award winner. So another 50, whereas James Earl Jones 93, 52, that's a kid. That's a kid, pretty much when you compare the two men that passed away on the same day, that's literally 40-year difference. That guy did not get to live the 40 years that James Earl Jones did, and that sucks. That's what I say, man. You know what? Have fun while you're here. And yes, we also lost Peter Renedy, voice master Splinter from the 80s show. All right. Yeah, that was the very first time that I saw his face, because I think I saw other movies that he had been into, but much, much later.
Yeah. And by the way, I just looked up what you were talking about with Obi-Wan. This is on his Wikipedia. During production for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jones signed a deal with Lucasfilm authorizing archival recordings of his voice to be used in the future to artificially generate the voice of Darth Vader. In September 2022, Jones announced that he would retire from the role of voicing Darth Vader, with future voice roles for Vader being created by that means.
Okay, so there you go. Then you know what? That's the right answer.
Yeah. So he has left us at 93, but we're still likely to hear his voice in the future of Star Wars.
Exorcist 2, Piece of the Action. Man, this guy was in, guy was in everything. All right, rest in peace, rest in power, James Earl Jones. All right, now we go from things that are great and privileged you honor when it comes to, and with James Earl Jones and some of these icons that are reaching that age, and then we go to some stupid shit.
By the way, how's it going, Selena Kyle?
How you doing?
We got Catwoman in the chat. I don't know. We got these celebrities bumping in now.
This Spiderverse rumor.
Oh yeah, I was seeing this. Like,
I generally don't go back and forth in the rumor chill until I hear somebody either confirm it or debunk it. The guy who's doing the score and doing sound on this, pretty much, and I hadn't heard it from anywhere else, but a lot of people was running with this. Let's see. Here we go. Down to go. Too many screens. Hold on. Let me get. I can't be ACS. I can't do it. I don't know how the fuck he does this, dude.
Yeah, though, guys, go back to James Earl Jones real quick. If you haven't seen Best of the Best, that is like, I'd love to watch a party of that, but Wayne won't let me know. We got
to take some time. We got to take some time and get back to it, especially with the month of Halloween coming up.
Yeah, that's true. We want to do some like a horror stuff in October. But he is like really, you talk about like he's the coach of the team and that, and he's like, he's let's just say he really puts his voice to use coaching the team. He's like really, really a powerful presence in Best of the Best.
All right, so we're gonna spend a little bit of time on this nonsense. All right, screen time. A whole bunch of people push this around. Let's see.
Yeah, I didn't really tackle it too much on social because I just kind of saw it floating around like, let's see if this is, I mean, I'll admit this definitely, if this is bears fruit, and as William said, it's already kind of been confirmed. Yeah, this is definitely not striking while the iron's hot as far as the timeline, because it came out, Spidervers came out in last year, so we're talking about like a 4-year gap on something that was a really monumental hit.
Here's another problem with this, though. Look how many people went with this. All right, Sony reportedly, according to the Insider, Sony reportedly scrapped the majority of the work that was done in Spider-Man Beyond the Spiderverse and are redoing it a lot of it. The film will likely release in theaters 2027. All right, and then Spider-Verse trilogy composer Daniel Pemberton, who you can verify, you can actually go to his site, says that Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse is not delayed to 2027 for creative reasons. He suggests that the report says it's delayed isn't accurate. And he's like, Daniel Pemberton, don't really ever want to weigh in on this sort of stuff, but would you ever believe that there sometimes could be stuff on the internet that might not always be particularly accurate? And then he tagged a couple people in there. And then Lord and Miller, and they chimed in.
This I didn't see. So this is gonna be my first time seeing it. And by the way, Ray, thank you for the super chat. Yeah. We'll show it by the end of the show. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it by now. I'll go. We'll show it.
Minecraft.
Oh, the picture. Yeah.
You're getting kicked right in the nuts, man.
No, me kicking the
bag. Okay, the picture that I'm going to show at the end of the show.
No. We'll show that at the end of the show, Ray. But thank you for the super chat.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, I love Best of the Best, Aaron. I love that whole series. The second one especially, that's my favorite. The whole series is phenomenal. Philip Reed was like, man, he was such a hero to me, in my Taekwondo days.
Okay, they did chime in. I can't find the regular. They chimed in and said everything, and they said they were getting updates. Something.
So it sounds like it's kind of in flux now.
No, they said no too. But hold on.
Okay.
Oh, here
So
we go. Here we go. Here we
has
go.
this been debunked? Has this been debunked or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on. I just want to. I had it up, but Lord and Miller had come out, and according to what I saw, they had debunked it.
Well,
And
yeah, because they're
okay.
talking
Oh,
about
here
the,
we go. Here we go. Here we
uh,
go. All right. The Spider-Verse scrapped and delayed report has been contested, debunked by Chris Miller himself. Nothing has been scrapped. The reels are coming in, and reels are coming along nicely. Very glad to hear results. Yeah.
okay.
So them. Here's another thing now.
Because well,
Uh,
just think about how wasteful that is. It's like everything. I mean, they're just gonna can everything they did. As far as like animating this movie so far, and to start from scratch. I mean, that's like. I mean, think about how like I mean that's some Justice League level like wasteful,
well,
bad management,
the
especially
problem is
especially coming off of something that was such a huge hit. So
yeah. First of everything in everything about that actually happened.
yeah,
Another rumor, a couple weeks ago, and this was when RJ was in the channel. RJ wanted me to cover this. I didn't want to cover it because I couldn't get any. There was nothing, and that was Lord Miller's contract. They weren't going to be resigned. All this, and I never heard it again from anything that was actually credible. And I still haven't heard anything. So I don't know what it is about the Spider-Verse, but I just think we got to be real careful about where this information is coming from, because this kind of stuff, I don't think it'll hurt the Spider-Verse movies, but this is the kind of stuff that can stunt the momentum of the development of a movie. If you're out there spreading shit, and it's not substantiated, by and if there's room enough for the people to come out and be quoted, anybody associated with the film to be quoted, then why put that out? And there was a lot of people asking me to cover this today, and a lot of people were asking me to cover the last thing today. I remember I actually, RJ brought it up, and I'm like, I don't want to touch it because I haven't had enough credible sources to say anything. And that's huge news. Lord Miller, who won an Academy Award for Into the Spider-Verse, leaving, that would have been huge news that was plastered everywhere. I haven't heard anything about it since. There's people, like I said, that quote, and I've seen that quote from Chris Miller everywhere else too. It just happened to pop up. So I got two people that are working on it that says it's not true. So, but if you look at what I showed you, that's, the fact that the bullshit or potential bullshit is out there is one thing. So many people ran with it. It's like, you guys don't realize that you're doing damage. Like I said, now with this movie, you're not going to hurt it. There's too much success behind both of these movies. But what about a Superman? What about a Brave and the Bold? What about another topic that people still need to are still on the fence about? Stuff like this hurts those movies and it hurts those filmmakers. So I'm gonna keep monitoring it. I think I have enough, just what I showed you right there and then, that I just should move on, and that it's most likely bullshit. But who knows? Maybe there's some truth on it. Maybe there's some. Who knows? But until you can put a flag on it, I say don't even go with it. To be honest with you, I wish they wouldn't release stuff like that. That's just me personally.
yeah. I mean, it reminds me a lot of the because you're talking about like how these things can have a damaging effect on something if it's not if it's already kind of an open season on it in the press. I mean, I think we definitely. I think DC definitely dealt with that heavily when the rumors started to, which ultimately proved to be true. But I mean, nonetheless, like how much they dominated the headlines of Ben Affleck, wanting to depart as Batman because of all the behind the scenes drama. I think that that, and then it led to Henry Cavill being the same thing, and that just hovered over the franchise for so long.
Well,
And
even beyond that, even before they started their bullshit, let's go all the way back to BVS.
yeah,
Where you had this kind of dumb shit that was floating around about BVS. And you're trying to make a movie. You're trying to give people a shot to see your movie. And then if you don't like it after that, that's one thing. But while we were promoting BVS, while we were promoting Justice League, even before we knew the shenanigans that were going on, there were people with the shovels with dumb shit just like this ready and waiting. And I'm like, that's not good for filmmakers of any kind. I don't care whether you're going to go see the movie or not. You're literally propagating BS. The movie's still in development. The people are legit and literally making the movies, and here you are, spreading things that that can't be substantiated. And it's just sad because What does that do? You know, a lot of these executives, not every executive is a good executive. A lot of these guys read tea leaves and they listen to information and they take information from sources and they use things as a barometer that might not be the best barometers. Bullshit like this is not the best barometers, but a lot of bad CEOs of companies have done it. We literally have proof of companies listening to the wrong thing when it came to making their choices for things and regretting it later. So I don't, like I said, Spiderverse is an Oscar-winning franchise that's made a lot of money. I don't think this will hurt this, but the trend of it is a decade old one that really sucks. It's just a bunch of shitheads sitting in trenches waiting for anything about a movie in development to come out. And then here we go. And then, like I said, it's one thing for the reporter to put it out because, to be honest with you, I don't even blame them necessarily. I blame the people who run with it. Like when they said, well, Lord Miller are gone, then that very well could end up being true. But as of now, it's not true. I didn't put it on our show because I couldn't find anything to substantiate it outside of one source and the two sources, and the one source was copying the other one. So I wish people would do a little bit more of that. You don't have to be first all the time. It's so that's what this exposed to me. The other thing is that we got a director for Spider-Man 4.
Oh yeah, and this was actually kind of a surprise when it dropped because he has previous MCU tenure. This is Daniel Destin, or is it Destin Daniel? Daniel Destin or Destin Daniel? Pull it up here. Is the Shang-Chi dude?
You all right, man?
Yeah.
you got it.
I can never get his. I always get his name backwards for some reason.
What did you say? I said Cretton. Destin Daniel Cretton.
Destin Daniel Cretton. Okay, I can never remember if it's Destin Daniel or Daniel Destin. But it's
it's a unique name. I'll give you that. It's a unique name.
It's Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. He will now be directing Spider-Man 4. So.
All right. I thought Shang-Chi was really fun. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
It's not even in my top 10 of favorite movies. But it was fun. It was worth the money. It was fun. I saw it. It was a movie. I liked the action. I liked the magic. They took some liberties that I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it definitely. Shang-Chi. I mean, he's a character. Obviously, you could like reshape a lot of his backstory.
Because nobody.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and they kind of also got screwed there a little bit too by COVID because they wanted to do the same thing they did. They put Black Panther out for Black History Month, and they wanted to put Shang-Chi out in time for Chinese Lunar New Year, but they couldn't do that because the COVID just screwed up their schedule so much. So with production and post-production, so it ended up coming out September of 21.
I think I know that would have been cool. I think this movie they could have put it literally on it would have made the same money. I think and it was a good movie. The only reason it doesn't make more than that is because nobody knew who the fuck Shang-Chi was. As far as like Marvel time, I know who he is. Master of Kung Fu, baby. Yeah. And he has some. He
had some awesome comics in
and he was the first martial arts one that could actually articulate what he was doing martial arts wise in the comic. Unfortunately, nobody bought the books either. So
I mean, it was definitely in the 70s. I mean, Marvel. I mean, it's the same way that Iron Fist came about. Is they were capitalizing on the kung fu boom, and Shang-Chi was very much. I mean, it's plain to see he was very much created to be Marvel. The Marvel answer
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. Yeah,
he looked like Bruce Lee. He acted like he didn't act. I mean, he was only comic, but the problem with Master of Kung Fu is the storyline and the premise of Master of Kung Fu, which is a fucking awesome book. All the iterations, even the Marvel Comics Presents one that came out in 1988, where it was part of an anthology. There wasn't really bad Master of Kung Fu. It just didn't attract viewers. I mean collectors. It just didn't attract. It kept getting transformed and canceled. And they would try to reshape the character. They tried to bring him out again when the movie came out. I think that book got canceled. It just wasn't something that was attractive. I was shocked when they said they were making this movie. I was floored. I was like, okay.
Well, because I always thought they were going to he was going to be one of the Netflix characters. I thought it's like, they would, because it seemed like, he's a street level character. They would have him meet Daredevil, or have him meet Iron Fist, and it would be like Punisher.
Yeah.
They would use like a backdoor pilot for his own show. And I think actually at one point, they were considering doing that.
And they probably did some research because listen, as somebody who likes Shang-Chi, a lot of people, I grew up calling him Shang-Chi because I never heard no one I knew collected the comics, so they couldn't hear the name over again. As a fan of, because he would deal with some mystical stuff, he would deal with the ancient one. That's why a lot of those connections that you see him in with Wong, those are legit connections. I couldn't give that book away to people. And I'm like, this is a really good book. People read it.
The biggest thing they had to change in the movie is Fu Manchu is his father and is his villain. Of course, there's kind of the connotations of Fu Manchu nowadays. Not have so exactly so. They maintain that his arch villain is his father, but that's about what they carry over from villain wise.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't do the Netflix thing with him, because I think the Netflix universe, the only thing I don't like about the Netflix is just too many people in it. Some of those people need to be guest characters every now and then. Not everything needs to be a show, and that there's some cool characters, but there's such a thing as overexposure to them. There's not a lot to those characters beyond certain stories, and they don't need their own shows. They don't need, and I think that's a problem with Shang-Chi, is that there wasn't much to his story beyond that one character arc, and they kept using it over and over again. And then they would put they would have Doctor Strange, and but he's more of a guest character type of situation, and Marvel does that a lot. They would sample some guest characters, and they would give them their own book every now and then to see it works. And sometimes Punisher worked, and others didn't. But Punisher didn't get its own series until 10 years after the character had been published. So Shang-Chi is one of those characters that literally is an anthology character. I think that's why he had one of his longest runs in the Marvel Comics Present stuff. But when I heard they were making a movie at that, I'm like, okay. But here's the thing with the MCU: it's connected. It was connected to the story that they were telling.
Yes, they had they had a foundation they could build from on it. That was
and it made good money, by the way. I'm not saying don't get me wrong, guys. It didn't bomb. It just didn't it just didn't make it some of the money. But then again, once again, they have the credibility to go with. And Shang-Chi is a B-lister.
That.
I'm being kind because I like the character.
Yeah.
Wow, it was a fucking expensive movie to make.
He's higher on the B list than Blade is. I'll say that.
Yeah. All right, they spent too much money on, but you could not spend the money because the movie is so fantastical. You have to tell a story.
The dragon and the 10 rings, and that was really my only the only kind of gripe I really have, because again, this is definitely, it was a Marvel movie that was definitely made for somebody like me, and they had they had guys like the Jackie Chan stunt team and some of those guys from Marshall Club on YouTube doing the action. Brad Allen actually when the Jackie Chan stunt team, he actually passed away right before the movie came out. And that they definitely that was if you've seen Gorgeous with Jackie Chan, I think that's kind of one of his big claims to fame. He was awesome, dude. Sucks I never got to interview him. I really would have loved to. But yeah, they did some awesome fight scenes in Shang-Chi.
No, it's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it was that one of the things when I first saw it, one of the things I was telling a lot of people is that the first half, it's kind of like split almost like two halves, where the first half is like a Hong Kong action movie, and then the second half is like a wuxia movie. It's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the second half, and so yeah, it definitely gets a lot more fantastical.
You're definitely going to see him again. I don't know if you're going to see another. I don't know if they're working on a sequel or not.
Yeah, but not with Mr. Cretton apparently. But the only thing that kind of where it did slightly lose me a little bit at the end was what was the with the dragon fight. I thought, because it started getting a little bit. It was kind of like the ending went on a little bit too long, and it was kind of like it got so much into that event of it with taking on the dragon, the fantastical side. I think a lot of people react that way. It's like, oh, no, cool, dragon, take us back to the kung fu, please.
Yeah. The one thing that it looks like they're doing, and I heard that it's going to be a grounded story with a multiverse, with some multiverse in it, which I think is the right.
Spider-Man 4.
Yeah. Sony wanted to do a full-on multiverse, and I'm like, Sony, I said this before. You own the IP. Whatever you want to do, Let Kevin Feige play with that one he's developed. You go play with your Spider-Man toy and make something brilliant with it. So it looks like they've come to an agreement, because actually they wouldn't even be going forward because Sony and Marvel have to agree. So there's obviously been some agreement here. By the way, there's 86 of you guys watching right now. Wow, 68 of you on Twitter. Hook us up. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell.
Watch the Life After Fighting Watch Party.
Yeah, I'm sorry for you brand new people
that bullshit that Williams is like talking about, the spoof stuff.
This man is obsessed with this movie. We showed it the other day. I thought this obsession would be over.
I'm obsessed with it because it's awesome. You know,
there's a lot of awesome things with it, but I don't know. Here you go. Scan that QR code, or I will put it in the I'll put it into the chat for you, where you guys can. I think this chat goes on YouTube or goes on them as well, because I know it goes on Facebook /. All right, there you go. There's the channel link in there. I've already spread this on the on the actual page itself. So I'm gonna do this again, and let's see. Yeah, so real quick, yeah, he'll be Tom Holland is definitely signed on for this.
It still is kind of surprising to me though, like with No Way Home being it was the biggest movie that year. It was the first $1 billion movie post-COVID, and I think it's like the 6th or 7th biggest movie ever made. So really kind of still is surprising me that it's taken them this long to like even get retro lockdown.
Because you're doing it right. You're not. That's the difference between the knuckleheads in Burbank and the other guys who are doing it right. See, when Kevin Feige comes up with a concept, dollar return is not in his head now. Maybe it was never in his head. He's going to wait until it fits in what he's doing, and he has the right people. He has the right script. He has the right. If the other one made $1 billion a couple years ago, that's great. Everybody got paid, but he's not dictated by that. And I think that's one of the best things about him. I think that's why he keeps a level head, and that's why he doesn't panic, is because he's going to make Spider-Man 4 when he's ready to make Spider-Man 4. And that's the way it should be. The other guys, would panic. It didn't make this. Shang-Chi, we would never see Shang-Chi again. At $448 million, after you spent $200 million, you would never see Shang-Chi again if it was the old DC regime. So I love the way he thinks. Don't like all his content, but yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home made a whole lot of money. It was a very enjoyable movie, but the story he's telling does not call for Tom Holland Spider-Man at the moment. So there you go. But like I said, I'm looking forward to it because I sat through Iron Man, Iron Boy and Mr. Stark, and Spider-Man being upstaged by a dead guy's glasses in his own sequel. The whole Mr. Stark, please don't take the costume from me. I'm nothing without it. And Tony Stark has to say, well, then you should never have it then. I'm like, that's some shit that Spider-Man came up on his own. Whatever. But like I said, at the end of No Way Home, when he's flying around in that suit that you see on our thumbnail there, I was very happy because I got the payoff. The next Spider-Man movie I'm going to see is Spider-Man, and people, I already see the things up on my timelines. Who should be in the movie? And they got all these people with Black Cat and this guy and all these other characters. Should Iron Fist or da-da? No, none of the above. None of the above. You know who I want to be a centerpiece of a Spider-Man movie? Spider-Man, and whoever his villain is. I don't need Daredevil in the Spider-Man movies. You could do that shit with the Avengers movies. But Spider-Man works just fine with his villains. So the Hobgoblin, then to whoever you want to go in there, Spider-Man doesn't need Daredevil. Daredevil doesn't need Spider-Man for that. It's cool in the comics when you do a guest appearance, but you only got 2 hours to show a movie. I want you to focus on Spider-Man and no one else. And I think this is their first opportunity. So I would be posting like, no, none of these people, none of the above. How about Spider-Man? Huh? Who should we have in the next Spider-Man movie? Peter fucking Parker. How about that? It's a novel idea, So hopefully we get that. But I'm happy we're moving forward with this movie because, like I said, I endured the first 2 Spider-Man movies and loved the third one. And now that under these circumstances, I think I'm gonna enjoy this. So, all All right, those are my main topics that I had for what would have been a slow Tuesday, but we had some Spider-Man nonsense, or so far nonsense. Like I said, when I see new information about Spider-Verse, I will come up here and say, hey, I have new information. But right now, well, what I have on September 11th, 9/11, 23rd,
Yeah.
I'm going to share that. For what I have on September 11th on 12:40 a.m. in the morning, I don't have anything to go on, and I really wish people would just stop spreading it. Stop going in. And I didn't even comment on it. I just looked at it. I'm like, because that adds more embers to the fire, and by the time we get to these projects, we've already got a weight on these projects that doesn't need to be there. And believe it or not, you may not think it does hurt the products. It does hurt the projects because not everybody is gifted with the best management to stick behind them on everything. You have to pretty much like massage your way into getting your money and getting your budgets and all that. Shit like this doesn't help. All right, let's hit the chat before I call it that.
Yeah. Fourth once more, Iron Boy.
We had 7 years. That's enough.
Yeah. Yes, they were. Everybody in Shang-Chi was kung fu fighting. It would be. It would be a Shang.
Fast as lightning.
Yeah.
It's you got what are you doing, right?
Yes. It was a bit frightening, but they fight with extra timing.
I was hoping you didn't miss that. we can't say this. You're not going to sting it on here. We'll get caught.
Yes, it wouldn't be Shang-Chi. It literally would not be a Shang-Chi movie. Everybody was a kung fu fighting.
Oh, this Minecraft trailer looks awful.
Yeah, I haven't watched the trailer yet, but it's getting memed like crazy. So, I'm not really like a Minecraft guy, so I don't really have a dog in that fight.
And Lord Miller did this, didn't they?
They did?
I'm looking at.
I wonder if this is what all the Spiderverse rumors stuff is coming from.
Hold on. Oh my God, that looks bad. I'm not a big Minecraft guy, but
Drogo says rumor everybody will be kung fu fighting and beyond the Spider-Verse. Source me. Okay, they'll all be they'll all be kung fu fighting. Hopefully they're fast as lightning. It might be a little bit frightening, but they will fight with extra timing.
We can stop. What is this movie called? Minecraft?
Minecraft. It's just called Minecraft, I think.
I can't find a movie on Wikipedia.
Oh, really? Is it that bad? They only want to put a Wikipedia page up for it.
Oh my God! April 4th. Oh.
Oh no, it does have a. It's coming up. Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa's in it.
Jack Black, Emma Myers, Danielle Brooks, Jennifer Coolidge. Dude, this has an all-star cast.
Kate McKinnon, yeah.
I wonder how much money this is. Warner Brothers Pictures. Uh-oh.
Oh, John Berg is a producer. Oh, one of the guys who's responsible for screwing up Justice League. Oh, that's not a surprise.
Okay, Lord Miller are not in this. All right. Okay, I guess they left. They were okay. Whew. The trailer does not look good. Sorry, guys.
I watched the trailer, so yeah. I don't know. This kind of strikes me, though. It kind of strikes me as the kind of thing where the actors are not even going to do press for it because it's so expected to not be good.
Oh, that press tour is going to be great. I know it was Feige. I know it was Feige who did that. I like I said, when Feige says something I don't like, I'll come out and say it. I did not like how Peter Parker was portrayed. However, it was Feige who also, Spider-Man is not a grown man on his own, so. I understand what he did and why he did it. I wish he'd have done it in a different way because that subservient Peter Parker, I just wanted to throw shit at a screen, but I know I would get it thrown out of the theater. So. Droga, $5 super chat. Oh, you read that. Okay. All right. Thank you for the support.
Life after Spider-Verse fighting.
I don't know if Jason Momoa's fault. He's getting paid, man. He's getting dude. Now, Falling Off Hard was in like 2011 after Conan and all these other things where he wasn't getting calls. And then Game of Thrones, Khal Drogo came up, and now all of a sudden, here we go.
And he said also, I mean, he actually that even had like a little bit of like a negative effect on his career because he said he would go into auditions of people because of Game of Thrones. They thought he didn't speak English.
Yeah, because he didn't. He didn't speak English that whole thing. And he was kind of brutal, by the way.
Yeah,
his racial relationship with Danny.
Nah, he's doing fine. He's gonna be doing
wasn't
fine.
all soft and cuddly.
He's also going to have the only Fast and Furious movie I'm actually looking forward to, like other than on an ironic level at this point, the Hobbs and Reyes spinoff with The Rock. So, and they
Hobbs and who?
want Hobbs and Reyes because he was Reyes was the bad guy in last.
Oh, why? When are we doing? When are we getting another Hobbs and Shaw?
Well, I think that's kind of taking the place of Hobbs and Shaw too.
I don't want to see.
Yeah, well, Hobbs and Shaw again.
Why aren't we getting a Hobbs and Shaw?
The Rock wanted the Jason in the first one, and they just weren't able to make it work scheduling wise. So this is like, okay, now we're gonna actually make it happen.
Yeah, but I didn't get. I got Hobbs and Shaw. Why am I not getting another Hobbs and Shaw? I don't want to see Hobbs and Reyes.
Who says Shaw's not gonna be in it? Maybe it'll be like Hobbs and Shaw.
Well, you just called it Hobbs and Reyes.
Well, that's the title as of right now. But I mean, maybe they'll call it like Hobbs and Shaw meet Reyes or something.
No, it doesn't. That movie. No, I don't want to see that. I liked Hobbs and Shaw. That was.
I loved Hobbs and Shaw. That's the post Fast 7. That's the only one series I've actually liked as straightforward level. And
dude, that movie made a crap ton of money. Granted, they spent a lot on it too.
Yeah.
Well, it still made 560 profit, but they didn't. Yeah. They didn't spend too much money on Hobbs and Shaw because they already had the Fast.
Well, they spent like almost twice as much on the next Fast and Furious to make the exact same amount.
Sequel,
and it's a much stupider movie for it.
Oh, okay. In June 2023, Johnson announced plans for a direct sequel were postponed, and that the standalone sequel serving as a direct continuation of Fast X. That would bridge the 11th main film was in development. The title was now as Hobbs and Reyes with Johnson and Jason Momoa set to star. Morgan is out. Boo! The best thing about Hobbs and Shaw is not going to be in it in this next movie. What I want to know why. I mean, I wasn't keeping track of all this anyway, but I think part of it is because this is just speculation, but I mean, obviously The Rock and Vin Diesel, they don't like each other. So I think this is kind of like a way for The Rock to return to the franchise, but still kind of keep his distance from Diesel. Yeah, but why isn't Statham in this? I don't give a fuck about his relationship with him and Vin Diesel. That means nothing. They're still doing the movie. He's still dealing with Diesel. So they're still dealing with each other. It's Vin Diesel's franchise.
Well, yeah, but even like even like to be in the same scene. I mean, Vin Diesel's like he's so insecure about his height compared to The Rock. It's like they have to have like part where it's like they're side by side in Fast 6, but it's like one of them. They're having a conversation where like they're standing like side by side talking to each other like this. You know the part I'm talking about?
Yeah, but you can do shit. I mean, they made Rocky Balboa look like he was 6'10" all the time, even up against Dolph Lundgren, who really was huge. So they can. I mean, you know what? That's a turnoff. I might have to pass on that. Not really. I mean, why would I go see that? I mean, personally, as somebody who thought the best part of the movie was Jason Statham's part in it, he's not going to be there. I mean. And I don't see a good enough reason
for us. Is it'll be like a, Shaw will be like
it's in development though, so who knows if it'll even been made.
Yeah, well, the series is just flown off the rails so much.
Yeah, but the rail. This was the part of the series that hung on the rails. Man.
This was the guardrail, is what it was.
If Statham's not in the movie, I'm not going to go see it.
What has Statham got coming up too? Let me look what he's got coming up. I definitely want to hope the Beekeeper 2 is something he's got coming up.
Is that even in development?
That should be.
I mean, that doesn't take a lot of time to make a movie like that.
He's got something. Oh, another one with David Ayer, actually called Levin's Trade. That's his next thing on the docket.
Scrap that.
Beekeeper. Well, no, it's already dated. It's already supposed to be out January. Pretty much the exact time that the Beekeeper is out this year. That's when that'll be out next year.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah. So Statham kicking it because Williams been very clear, and I'm a big Statham guy too, but he's very clear. Statham is him, like watching him like bashing heads in his he's one of like the action movie guys or martial arts guys.
I actually thought, like I said, because we watched that and Monkey Man back to back, I thought this movie was clearly. Actually, no, you know what? I thought this movie was better than it was the John Wick films. Beekeeper to me, the action, what he's doing in that movie. Because, you know,
I had to miss out on that watch party too. I forget why, but I wasn't there for that.
yeah, but I actually think as
And,
far as, you know, for the most time you
yeah,
see it on the screen, I actually think the Beekeeper
and
outdoes John Wick.
Beekeeper was like that. That's when he had come out like right after what was the biggest letdown of last year for me by far was Expendables 4.
Yeah, they need to stop.
I mean that was a real like I can't that just was heartbreaking. Those are my boys, and that again the series
The
from the
series
outset,
needs to stop at 2, and it's
man. Of course, well the first thing I saw Statham it was the one with Jet Li, and that's actually that's very sci-fi. That's a multiverse movie. So anytime you want to do that, it meets the criteria.
It's boring as shit though.
Oh, the hell it was. But then right after that, that's when he really broke out with the Transporter.
Transporter for me was the big one. That and the Italian Job, Collateral, everything he did from 2000 all the way up to Pink Panther sucked. Crank was ridiculous. I mean,
Crank is so stupid, but I love it.
Bank Job, Death Race, Transporter 3 was actually good. It wasn't the best of the 3 by any means, but it was still. Some of these movies are fucking awful, but him in there.
He did one with Uwe Boll.
The mechanic. Yeah.
In the Name of the King, Dungeon Siege. Yeah, that sucked. He was okay in it though. He was pretty good in it. Death Race I actually liked. What else do you have? The Expendables. The first two. The way I rank the Expendables, I literally have them. I rank them like this, from like the first one to the fourth one. I classify them as the good one, the great one, the okay one, the terrible one. That's how I classify all 4 Expendables.
After 2, 3 was bad. I didn't think 3 was any good. 4 tells its own awfulness. I think the second one, by the end of the second one, I'm ready for the franchise to be done with. I think they barely got enough mileage to get out of 2 without the things falling apart, because it just really didn't catch me. First one was good. Second one was like okay. But you realize that's when everybody in the office should look at each other and say, this is where this really needs to end. There's no more left to tell. All you're doing is blowing shit up and doing, there's nothing. You can do that. There's too many other movies that do what the Expendables do now and do it better than the Expendables ever did it. So you can't keep going back to their well. And that's what they did. They just did it too many times. Expendable 4 should be the end of it. Expendables 2 should have been the end of it. I don't know what was being passed around when said, let's do an Expendables 3. I guess the box office, but once again,
the second one, was the biggest of the series.
Yeah, and it wasn't the better one.
So no. The second one is that is the peak of the series, in my eyes.
Nah, peak of the series is the first one.
No. So 2 was like God.
I struggled to finish. I mean, maybe because you're a kung fu dude, I struggled to finish Expendables 2.
Because that had the bigger ensemble. It had
too many people in it.
It turned up everything up to 11. It's like it had Van Damme as the villain. And Scott Adkins right when he was on the come up.
Like I said, I saw it for free, and I was ready to just like I said, if it wasn't for we promoted that movie, I just it was good, but it like towards the end, I'm like, I've had my fill of Expendables. And it wasn't for me. It wasn't better than the first one. I don't even think I can't believe the same people made the movie. But it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. But like I said, I did not like 2. I didn't like the way 2 wrapped up. And I'm like, when I heard they were making a 3, I'm like, okay.
Well, then they made PG-13.
This is where you should have known by the end of 2 that was it. You should. There was enough to me disappointing stuff about 2. Content and story wise, to where the way it wrapped up, that's it. That should have, you made your money, you did all right. I don't even know how much 3 made. I don't even look at it anymore.
3 it was definitely where things started going downhill.
No, things started going downhill in 2, but that's
Oh hell no, they went uphill with 2, both narratively and box office wise, but then downhill. Well, again, 3 a big part of it for. A big part of the downfall of that was they made it PG-13, and then that's what 4 was supposed to remedy. It's like, I mean, you made it R again, but I mean, it's like Expendables 4 has some of the worst green screen I've ever seen in my life in it. I mean, it has like Asylum level green screen in it. This is like this. I feel bad for everybody involved because this is just like this is embarrassing.
You look at the list of this movie. There's too many fucking people in this movie, and this is the only Jason Statham movie that I don't watch over again. Out of all his movies, he does a lot of movies, and some of his movies are really bad. This movie to me is just, like I said, it's just a bloated. It was a bloated mess, especially his third act. Third act was like, what the? Who else is going to be in this movie?
Well,
who else is going to be in this
movie?
They
literally say that when Chuck Norris shows up to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Like,
who's next, Rambo? That was fun of it. That was fun of it.
I thought that I'm like, yeah, okay, you guys know this is a joke. It's time to end it.
That's the point of it. They're in on the joke.
Well, no, the point of it is not to be a joke. But once again, it's all film are subjective. I thought that it was over at Expendables 2. I thought they've gone to a well that was literally running out during the second one and went back 2 more times, and it's just gotten increasingly, it's just not. And like I said, I will watch Jason Statham in just about anything. That's the hardest movie for me to get through because if he's not, he's not really. And
now with 6, with Fast and Furious, because the 6th one, because I had not gotten into, I really should have gotten on board with Fast 5 because everybody agrees that's where it, where really the series really kind of hit its stride, and that was also where The Rock came in. So yeah, that really should have pulled me in then. But I finally started with 6. And I still remember, like, just the audience with the end credit scene when Statham comes out of the car and the Tokyo Drift kind of link up scene. It's like the audience is like, "Oh yeah, we are so down for this." Yeah. So yeah, that of course set him up for 7, and yeah, he's been a part of the franchise ever since.
Yeah, apparently not. Shit. People actually pay. A lot of people paid to see the Meg more than they were expecting. That's why you got a Meg 3, and you're getting a Meg 3. Meg. Listen, the Meg, unlike the Expendables, 2. Which you don't realize it's a joke until you're watching it. The Meg 1 and 2 are jokes. You do not go to see the Meg for cinema. You're going to see the Meg.
You go to see the Meg to see a big shark eat people.
Yeah, and now a bigger shark eating another shark. It's just complete. It's bonkers bullshit. But that's how they market it, though. They market it as that, and there's no disappointment in that. When you market something like that, there's no disappointment. I feel you. I'm like, yeah, this is fine. And I love the 2 Meg movies for what they are. I thought Expendables original one was a pretty good movie. I did not think the same about the second one, especially when you match it up against the first one. But a lot of people like it. I don't think it doesn't matter because I think the decline that should have caught up with it.
Decline post 2, yeah.
Yeah, money wise, the decline that should have been there after 3 is now there after 4, and it's time to put that dog to rest.
But actually, we had one for 4th. He was asking what's the, let me go back to it.
I had it up.
Yeah, where he was. I think he was asking what's the next sci-fi movie we're going to do a watch party for? Yeah, here it is.
Got to think. I usually don't come up with them until around Wednesday.
I was actually going to suggest, because we haven't done any, and you're big into this, and Aaron is. We haven't really, I don't think, done any other than some of the watch parties, and this is before I was on here of the shows. We haven't done any for Star Trek, and again, I'm very fresh on Star Trek, and I've said before, it's like I'm willing to. Take that plunge with people who are much more knowledgeable of the series than I am. So if you want to do some Star Trek ones, I could definitely be down for that.
Like movies or TV shows?
Yeah, some of the movies, yeah.
If we do one, it's got to be. I think we did First Contact. I think I'll probably do Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, I've never seen Wrath of Khan, but I know it gets references like it's like Star Trek fans hold Wrath of Khan and just such. And again, I've seen the modern the Kelvin timeline is what it's called, right? Of the J.J. Abrams. Yeah. So even I never having seen Wrath of Khan, it's like I still recognized what they were homaging when Spock is going Khan in the second one. So
all right, when it comes to Battle Beyond the Stars, at the time it was released, this wasn't necessarily considered a B movie. This movie made a lot of money for 1980. It was a big budget movie. This wasn't considered a B movie. They spent $2 million and made $11 million on it, and it's become a cool. I think because Roger Corman's name is on it, you automatically assume that it's a B movie. But at the time, and I was around. I saw this in the movies. I never considered Battle Beyond the Stars. A B movie. It's actually a high budget movie. You look at the effects, for the time and space stuff, it was a pretty decent $2 million in 1980 was a lot of money. 11 million box office was a lot of money in 1980. That's considered a hit, but hey, I guess Voyage Home is one of my favorites. Yeah. Tales from the Hood. Hey, we should do Leprechaun. Leprechaun in the Hood. Not just any Leprechaun. Lep in the Hood.
Well, we talk about October though, so I don't know what some good horror movie ones we could do.
We got to start doing some later ones in the evening too, because that's when you watch horror movies. So watching horror movies on Saturday afternoon. I used to do that, and it's cool, but watching them at nighttime.
No, Aaron, we haven't done any for any of the Star Trek movies. We haven't done any watch parties yet of any Star Trek movie. Before I came on the channel, I know William had done some watch parties.
We did, we did watch parties for the actual
yeah.
shows. We actually did Discoveries, and we did those like that. But we haven't done the movies.
So yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. Like, it's one thing we could tackle, but I don't know. Of course, like sci-fi, it's like B movie sci-fi stuff. Like, okay, what? Well, I'm never going to talk William into Sharknado.
Yeah, I don't like that movie because for what it meant for Sci-Fi Channel. That basically was the line of delineation where it was the end of the Sci-Fi Channel.
I wonder. One or two. I'm thinking about that guy. That guy said in the theater for Fast 9, we thought the space car could actually be pulled off. I kind of wondered what his thoughts are on Sharknado. It's like, this kind of sounds like if you get
sharks need air to live, right? Yeah. And if a shark is flying through and it's going without oxygen, and I don't think the last thing on its mind as it's dying is going to be, well, I think I'll fucking eat this human.
I'm just picturing him saying the end part when the dude's like the shark is like falling to earth and he jumps in the shark's mouth with the chainsaw.
Oh, that was stupid. That was stupid. Oh, that's oh hell no with Mark Cuban. Yeah, those movies are just awful movies. And then Sharktopus. When I mean, it's like
I'm thinking he said the same thing about that. It's like, if you time it just right, you just open the shark's mouth at the right angle. It's like you might actually be able to pull this off.
Oh my goodness! All right, so I think that's
Hey,
look who's here.
What's up, Anthony?
What's up? Congratulations! I saw you are headed to go.
Oh yeah, to the Netflix event in Atlanta that for Twilight of the Gods that Zack Snyder will be in attendance for.
Yeah, you're going to a Netflix event like the one I went to. I don't know if this is going to be as posh as the one I went to, but they're fun, dude. Like I said, the one I went to was great. There was some nice food there. He was there for Rebel Moon. I don't think are they showing it, or are they showing just previews of it? What are they doing there for you guys?
Probably, I think for these things they tend to for shows they tend to show like the first 2 episodes.
Well, see, for us they didn't. They just showed scenes. They just showed a couple of scenes, but it doesn't matter because if the event is structured like the one I did, or you're gonna be like within arm's range. I mean, I don't know if you've ever met Zack Snyder before, Anthony, but it's the way, okay, I don't know, because we did it to Dumb. Yours was to Dumb. Ours was Geek Week. I think it's the same thing. I don't know if they're all the same, but once you get screened and everything in there, I mean, because once you RSVP, I think you get screened. You're just walking around and the celebrities are in there. Like with Sophia Patella was right there. The only reason why I didn't get her autograph, on this is the one right here. That's this one.
He says that they are showing the first 2 episodes of the show there.
Okay, cool. The only reason why I didn't didn't meet her or get her autograph is because Zach had my football, and he was drawing Wonder Woman on it, and the other Brad and Austin were with me, and they were getting their ball. In fact, there's pictures that night I did it where we were standing. You can kind of see Sophia Patella. She signed an autograph, but we're like, I either get my ball signed by Zack Snyder, or by the time we got through the line, she was already gone. But that no disrespect to Sophia Patella, we were there for one guy, and we got a chance to meet him. So this was during football season, obviously this was Super Bowl week, as a matter of fact. So hopefully it's as intimate as the one we went to. It's going to be a lot of fun. Take a lot of pictures, man. Don't go shirtless. I know that's your deal, but I don't think that'll be cool there. I don't, you buffing up and hulking up and showing up people, tell them, hey, I'm married, but I can take your woman type of thing. But yeah, have some fun there, dude. Get some pictures. And And I can't wait to see your show afterwards on that.
Well, speaking of pictures and physical activity, Ray requested this earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and share it. I did share it on all my social media pages, and you guys, a lot of you have been begging me to share some pictures of like a training for a while. Actually, this was from about I think this was Thursday night. Students kicking drills in the school, and the teacher was just taking snapshots of it. He was he's saying we were all doing a great job. He actually told me I was going so fast he couldn't capture me clearly on camera, so that's pretty cool to hear. But yeah, here's one of me training that I shared last night. That, I'm going to share with you guys now. So yeah, this is me.
Who? I can't tell if that's you or not.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely me. It's the only, and for some reason I kind of crunched my head down. And we did a ton of kicking drills this night, so we were just wearing ourselves out doing this.
I think I see some Photoshop action around the neck and the hair. I think I see two different people's hair.
This is me, guys. This is absolutely me. This is a jump spinning kick I'm doing. So I've done this kick like I can't even count how many times. And yeah, we were working hard that night, and we took a couple of pictures from training, put it up on social media, and like actually my mom was calling me and telling me, it's like, because she follows the school on social media, and so she saw this and said, hey, you should share this with everybody, and finally taught me into it, because I just haven't shared a lot of training and photos and things like that. So I put it on my Facebook and my Twitter and my Instagram and my Vero, because I'm using my Instagram a lot more now these days, because I'm pretty proud of this. I'm pretty proud of this moment, and I'm pretty proud of being told I can kick fast enough that I can't be seen on camera doing it. So he just got me to like just the right moment to kind of catch the image. So there you go, guys. You wanted to see me a little bit of a picture, a snapshot of me training. Here you go.
I'll have to add Aaron and Aaron.
I can
guess for her needs.
I know you guys are gonna do something with that on there.
Yeah, I get around to it.
That's like that's this. Yeah, I love doing this kick, Aaron. I love doing it. I love doing it. Kicking is probably my favorite thing to do in martial arts. So I love all kinds of kicking drills we do. And this Thursday night, we were focused on kicking drills that night, and I'm pretty good about like nailing those pads. In all modesty, I can take out hand targets of the best of them. I don't mind saying.
All right, haven't been fortunate enough to meet him yet. I'm more excited to shake his hand and thank him to see. Yeah, because we're gonna get the episodes. We're gonna get those episodes, but yeah, I hope it's not so big an event that you can't get get on there. Because sometimes I don't, and I've only been to the one, but I don't know if their events are uniform as far as like what kind of access do you have to Zack Snyder? Like we had direct access to him. I mean, it was just like it was just good. So like I said, we got this. I remember those things. So that was that you just could walk up to him. He's standing by the front door. He's just standing there. I guess he's waiting for somebody, or I'm not sure. Or the handler, but we just walked up to him and there he is. Pretty cool guy. We talked for a little bit. We talked about the charity and everything else. But yeah, I got pictures from it. Yeah, but take plenty of pictures, Anthony. Take plenty of pictures. And for anything you guys do in this modern era of digital era and social media, take pictures. I love taking pictures now. During my early careers, doing all this, we didn't have the type of technology we had, like the old shit that didn't carry over to digital. But now that's why you see me, like when I go to conventions, I take a ton of pictures. I mean, San Diego Comic-Con, the last 2 years, I take like 1,000 pictures. I mean, so when you go to these events, like the Netflix event I went there, I took pictures of the food, the hors d'oeuvres and shit, because they had fucking prime rib cutlets, man. I told you I got enough of them to where I made one big prime rib sandwich. I was so afraid they were going to throw us out. I was so afraid that there was a mistake, even though it was from our people who we promoted to. I'm like, maybe did the people who sent me or the people who are running this event on the same page, they're going to take one look at me and be like, get out. It never happened. We stayed the whole time. Like I said, we were able to just walk up to Zack Snyder. like you know, and then we were able, like I said, Sophia Botello. And what they did is they had them go out of a different entrance this time because we were all in the front. So I looked around for her to get her to sign the ball. She'd already been gone. And I think she was going to a Super Bowl party too. So I think she had previous engagement. So yeah, have fun. Have fun. Yeah, get that football sign. Have them draw something on there for you. Okay, cool. Then you're in, man. You're in. Like I said, get the selfie. Have some fun. You know, then you'll be in a special club of people who've met Zack Snyder in person, which Brad's not part of. I'm just kidding. You'll meet him someday. I really try. I really wanted you to hear that day. I understand you couldn't come because it was short notice. It was real short notice.
Yeah.
But I was ready. My mom had helped me with because she's a Continental Airlines person. She was helping with the ticket price. It was dirt cheap. It was I'm not giving up where Brad is, but from where Brad was to where I was at that time, because it's the winter time.
Everybody keeps asking. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say I live in Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, people, but because I've asked I've asked around with people. It's like because I've been pretty tight-lipped about like just like life and things, especially starting my. I mean, it took me a year to come on camera, guys. So.
We're the exact opposites, by the way, as far as how we've adjusted. But there's no wrong way to do it.
So I'm kind of like it's and even like sharing that, be doing the spinning kit picture there, and like it just takes me a while to just really get comfortable like sharing stuff and and there's no like real like hard reason for that.
It's just not your thing.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's different because it's what I have to be that way.
Yeah.
I'm actually an introvert. In when I'm not around people, but when I'm around people, I have to engage because if I'm trying to convince you to buy something or engage what I'm doing, I have to do it to a certain level. So for me, it was easy. In running a business, you want to dox me, big deal. I mean, I literally have a slide that tells you where to come find me if you want to, with singing involved. So, but with you, I understand. Everybody, this is a new world, and you just know, you know. But no, Savannah, Georgia. I
was actually born here. I was born here, and then we moved to Colorado when I was a baby. And that's when my dad got transferred, and that's where my sister was born. Then when he retired and I graduated from high school, the whole family, we actually briefly lived in Florida for a little bit. Then we came here to Savannah. So I've been living in Savannah since I was about 18.
So yeah, I was like, hey, Brad, and I even got to Brad. Hey, listen, something came up, dude, and I want you to be here for this. And I emailed him, I texted him, and I thought for sure he was just going to say yes. I was going to meet Brad. We were going to go hang.
Yeah, it was kind of short notice.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I regret, that it was tough because I did want.
That's the nice thing about us wanting to do Comic-Con again next year is we got a year of lead time on that.
Yeah, and by the way, Comic-Con was another one. Comic-Con, I was perfectly willing to bring Brad out to help cover Comic-Con, both times for very legitimate reasons. You know, he had things to do. You just can't, you just can't up and do that. Although I was hoping I put it out there. But I have a feeling that we'll have plenty of opportunities to get together and do things like this. I'm definitely going to Comic-Con next year. We're going to be going. I've already petitioned for the whole press pass thing. So hopefully we get that. If not, I got other ways a lot easier to get us in this time around. And that's one more person to help do Hall H if we do Hall H next year, because you saw from my adventure that was an adventure.
Oh yeah,
that was something else.
So when we go there next year, and Brent Foster is there next year promoting Life After Trying 2, you'll be giving your apologies as a person. That's good. No.
You be honest with you, I watched the movie because I actually rented it.
Okay. Oh, so you watched it like external of the watch party?
Yeah, because I couldn't.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you were barely there for either of the watch parties on Saturday because you had customers.
Yeah, it's a fucking brutal movie. There's one scene in particular there that I'm like, I didn't need this today.
Are you talking about when he smashes the dude into the window and then drags his throat across the glass?
I did not need that scene.
No, I love it because that was like a mortal. You're Mr. 3Ds. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but sometimes the way like I said, sometimes the way it's done, like when Clint was we were in the movie and we were watching the Christmas movie. With John Leguizamo,
Violent Night.
Violent Night. There's a scene where the little girl has set a booby trap for this cat, and there's a nail
Oh,
glued to
oh
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
slips. He slips on it. The nail goes through the bottom of his mouth, through his
Yeah.
tongue, through the food. I literally fucking flew from a sitting position out of my seat. Because when you can do that to me, you've done something. You've
Yeah.
achieved something. I've seen it all. So
No,
when
the
you can
one-
get me to go,
Oh no, the one that violent that really got me is when it's when he's with the other henchwoman, or the girl's with the other henchwoman in the attic, and she gets her boots caught in that and like that
the
rat
tar, yeah,
that
yeah,
rat
the
glue,
trap, the
and she
fly
gets
trap, yeah.
kind of like that, but she's got her hand, so she's got her boots glued, and she's got her hands glued, and she's got her the back of her head glued, so she's trying to pull herself up, and she does, but she like tears part of her scalp
Yeah.
out when she does it.
The other one for Violent Night is when the main villain dies. How that fucking happens was like, oh, that was.
Oh
I
yeah,
knew,
that was.
I knew
that
they
was,
were gonna do something like that, but when they did that, I'm
Let's
like,
just-
bravo.
Let's just say that like wiggle your nose to go up the chimney, like it's never been like this before.
I need to see a sequel to that too.
Oh,
But
they're-
I'm getting a
they're
sequel to
making-
Thanksgiving, which, like
Mhm.
I said, I don't cry at movies, guys. But when you do your job and you do it that well, once again, these are movies. I am not condoning you doing this with real people or anything that happened in real. I will never ever condone a woman being dressed like a turkey, literally with garnishes and sauce and everything else, and being put in the oven. As a horror fan, it's art. and when he puts her on the table, we're definitely going to do a watch party of that one. And like I said, there may be tissues around.
Guys, listen, if you weren't here last year,
The trailer.
William was like he was like me on Life After Fighting, or he was like me on The Raid. I mean, he was counting down the minutes for Thanksgiving.
Because they gave a lot away during the trailer. And obviously, if you get put into an oven like that, you're gone. But then somewhere they showed the scene. I think Gina Gershon, who plays that character, was on somewhere, and they show her. That's her scene. You know, she goes in the talk shows, being put into the oven and all, dressed up, and her screaming, and him closing the door. I'm like, this may be one of the great scenes in all of horror. What's about to happen here? And when you see the culmination of it, it was like, I was speechless. I was like, and then he starts cutting and he starts feeding her to all of the remaining people. And I'm like, this is some sadistic shit right here, But it was purposeful. I know a lot of people like Terrifier 3, but the problem I have with Terrifier 3 is
Terrifier
that
2. That Terrifier 3 is not out yet.
I'm sorry, Terrifiers 1 and 2, especially one. The violence in these other movies that we described, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it totally fits into the movies. The violence in Terrifier 2 is just happening.
It's just like there's just you can tell I struggle to put into words like how just absolutely gruesome Terrifier is. And
one scene in particular, I've seen people make dolls and shit of. I'm like, you guys are out of your mind.
I think. I think I know. Is it the bedroom scene in 2?
No, it's the Saw scene in 1.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That's one. Like, yeah, that's a real like what? Yeah, that's why 1 is the easier watch of it for me because on runtime being shorter because there's just, I mean, it's just such a marathon of blood and death in 2.
It's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
So ACS is 4 hours. Anthony's 4 hours away from you.
Oh yeah, because you mentioned he's in Atlanta. Yeah, dude, if you're ever in Savannah, let me know. Or next time I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, that's cool. You two could form a bromance, and he does his karate shit, and you do your muscle bound stuff, and you maybe make a movie or something.
I'm pretty, I got some muscle on me.
Anthony, you hear that? You're being shown up. He's gonna take that as a challenge.
I just I'm not to toot my own horn.
By tooting your own horn. Don't toot your own horn, but tooting your own horn.
We'll do like a bicep, flex competition.
There's gonna be a selfie, and they're gonna take it, and they're gonna spread.
And we're gonna tag you.
Yeah, whatever. William and me need to hammer out details for a Vegas meetup. Lloyd Kaufman's coming out November 5th, but I might. We all need to get together. To be honest with you, all the people that are on the coast, but some of us are all over the way.
Yeah. Well, like you've mentioned before, I went ahead and said it. You mentioned you've been to Savannah before, right? You mentioned that earlier this summer when you were dealing with your Blazing Inferno, and I definitely was. Like I have that plus humidity.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I've been for the military, I can't quite remember why the fuck I was there, but I was in uniform.
Were you at because the base here because there's a base in Savannah, it's Hunter Army Airfield.
Yeah, because you can fly out of there, and then there's another one there. There's another one there, isn't there?
There's Fort Stewart's about
okay.
Like 20
That's
miles
Fort Stewart. That's
Oh,
Fort
you went to
Stewart,
Fort-
and
okay.
then Fort Stewart, and then we went everywhere. And like I said, no offense to the state of Georgia, but the Army, you have a beautiful state, but the Army's not looking for beauty. The Army is looking for space.
Yeah.
And when you think of Georgia, you're probably thinking of Atlanta. You're probably thinking of a lot of things. Whatever you're thinking of, that ain't the Army. Wow.
We got Tybee Island, but they're not thinking of that.
Yeah, and made sure I didn't get there. Go to Carolina. Any of these places with nice stuff on it. Once you get, you're on the moon. Wherever the Army is, you're basically on the moon.
They're finding the armpit of the place.
Yeah, you're on the moon. The Air Force is in its cities and the places, And by the way, when you're deployed and the Air Force has to live with us, they get a $500 substandard living allowance because they're living in substandard conditions. And I'm like, I'm living in the conditions and I don't get the substandard bonus. The Army's like, soldier up. Whatever. So like I said, the land I was born in, Berlin, Germany. The country of Germany has beauty from the Autobahn everywhere. Where did I go? Well, where did I go? In the land that I took my first breath. Kaiserslautern. No offense to you great people of Kaiserslautern. Well, on the list of places, I'm like, Germany, yeah. K-Town ain't one of them. And you got to drive a long time to get to Kaiserslautern. You got to see, you're so far in Kaiserslautern that you're starting to see stuff that got blown up in World War II. They're like, nobody's coming here. We don't need to rebuild this. We actually went on a tour. Hey, we're going to Castle Heidelberg. There's still bullets in the wall. You know why? Because nobody's going to tear any of this shit down because nobody's coming here. We had to go get on special permissions and stuff to go to Berlin and Munich and all these, to the wall. I'm like, I was born here and I had to pay a lot of money to get to Berlin. And then everybody else went to England and all that. But I'm like, K-Town, and like I said, there's a lot of World War II stuff there, because that's Hitler had an actual castle there or a fort there. And that's where you can actually stay at that port. As a matter of fact, I think the Army used that port. The Army will use anything that's currently standing. They'll put us into anything. When we went, when you deploy and you go through Kuwait, the Kuwait Naval Air Force Base or naval base, because Saddam Hussein killed Arabs there, they won't inhabit them. Guess who will? All right, the emirs and all the people who said, you know what, this is sort of, we don't want to inhabit places where we knew Saddam tortured and hung people there, and they even showed us the places where Saddam was torturing senior Kuwaiti officials and officers and all that. They showed us there. And by the way, that's where you're staying. So we're staying in the place where people were killed, but where no one else is. You know what? As soon as the Army said, hey, you guys, no one else is going to stay here. The Army's like, that's the place. That's the place. Put them there. And they did it.
Aaron or Ray asked, did you ever see a station in Eden? Where you were
Southwest
okay.
Georgia.
I actually got. You got stationed in so that's the Middle East.
The Middle East,
yeah.
Southwest Asia.
Okay.
Hey, on all your orders, they try to take your mind out of it. The fact that you're about to be put into that situation by saying, "Congratulations, soldier, you're about to be part of something special in your 545-day potential tour to Southwest Asia." And I'm like, just fucking say the Middle East, dude. I can't do anything. There are orders. I can't. If I'm a deserter, I'm not going to desert. You lost me. You kidnapped me. I was out of the military, and when they called me up, they're like, "Hey." And at the time, it was a special. I think special. Hey, and I'm like, "Hey, well, hold on, sir. Sorry. First off, I'm no longer specialist pal. So I think you got me. I've got the wrong guy. I need you to go reference my paperwork. This is all going to be a mistake, right?" No. I got good news for you. And they said it like that. I got good news for you. We circumvented that process. You're still in the Army. You've been stop loss. And I'm like, and I was in shock. I will never forget this.
Was that during the surge?
No, this was during OIF2. This is a year
Oh,
after the war had
okay.
started.
Okay.
This was the year the war started because we were
Oh.
part of the beginning of OIF2. So I was standing in the middle of my store at the time, and they told me, "Hey, you might want to sit down for this." And I'm like, "No, I'll stand." So yeah, and they told me that, and then they told me I had 48 hours. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave it. I have a business here. I had planned. I'd put on some pounds. I thought I was done. I was gonna take some time off, maybe get back in a little bit later on because my enlistment was up. No, you're on the stop loss. You're not going anywhere." And they had the orders. They sent the orders to me. I got more time to get everything, hire some help and everything, get everything done. And I told you the story before. I went to Fort Lewis, Washington, and my hope was like, because I wasn't afraid to go to combat. I was tired at that point. I was exhausted with the Army. I was just like, you know what? I just want to be a civilian. And I'm like, well, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to show up because you could use it back then. If you got a military ticket, you could use it to come back. So I'm like, well, if nobody shows to pick me up, technically I reported to where I was supposed to go. I'm getting on the plane. I'm going to fuck back to Vegas. Nope. I'm looking around, and I will never forget. They were there with smiles. It was like early in the morning, and I'm like, and then this set in. This is really fucking happening. I'm literally about to go away for a very long time. And that was back when deployments were a year in country. Your pre-mob didn't count. It counted as far as your overall order. So they could keep you up to 15 months. And I think they kept us for 13 and a half. Because we were gone. Because pre-mob, because what ended up happening is once they kidnapped me, put the sack over my head, threw me in the plane. The problem is once this war became real, you had a lot of guys in uniform like they just wanted to get out. I was going to ETS, which is in time of service. So I was already out. They got me. And there was a lot of people who just weren't reporting. They would send out the orders, and they had to do what's called cross level. I call it kidnapping. They call it cross level. So which is what they took you from the unit. So since the unit I was going to get out of, because my ETS was there, they had already deployed. So I was available, and they pulled some chicanery to put the stop loss and make the stop loss retroactive. Some shady shit. And I'm like, you said, you can fight it and all that. I'm like, well, how long is it going to take to fight it? Well, it could take 18 months. Well, that's a fucking deployment. So I might as well just get on, So best decision I ever made, though, be honest with you, in retrospect, best decision I ever made for what was then my military career was to not fight that deployment, to get on that deployment. I met people to this day that are lifelong friends. You get to see a part of the world in a different situation. You get to go through a situation that only 1% of any man, woman, or child will ever go into. Only 1% of everyone who ever lives in the United States will ever be in the United States military. And when you talk about deployment, there's only that goes down. That percentage goes down. So those deployment, even if you get out afterwards, because a lot of people just didn't retire. They went back to it, but you still form those bonds. You still form that discipline, and you still look at the civilian world differently now. When I came back here after all that, I looked at the civilian world as not being as hard as it could be because, you're doing 12, 14, 15-hour days in that heat. And then when it's wintertime, it's cold as fuck in the Middle East.
That's what my dad told me, yeah.
Is fuck in the Middle East. They give you little underoos and stuff, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, because the day we got there, it's 1:15. Let me throw this to the bottom of the duff bag. And I remember digging that shit out in the dark, like, oh my god. And there's like ice everywhere, and like, holy shit. But no, it's me getting on that deployment and meeting some of the people that I just talked to them for my birthday. A lot of the people that were wishing me happy birthday, they were people I deployed with. That before there was we barely had nights because I deployed in OIF too, so we didn't have all these other things to keep track. I built our own internet system out there because that's what I was doing. So yeah, it was a good it was a good deployment. Yeah, East Asia, no. Southwest Asia, aka the Middle East, yes.
Yeah, I actually when I was like 13, because we were living at Fort Campbell, Kentucky at the time, and
you can keep that place too.
Yeah, again, the Army, they picked the armpit every place.
101st, home of the 101st.
And we were actually, when my dad was getting his next, he's getting a PCS for his next assignment, we actually almost got sent to Korea that year. It was going to be 2000. We were moving, so we were really going to get sent to South Korea which really would have been
Oh
interesting for me.
wow, that would have been nice.
Well, that would have been interesting for me because then it's like, oh man, it's like
How'd you get cheated out of that?
Yeah, that's like right up my alley. So I
Yeah,
mean,
robbed.
I would have gotten the Taekwondo earlier than I did. I would have like gotten so. But again, it's like kind of like what you said. It's like I also would have like I wouldn't have gotten to meet my original teacher and like a lot of people like consider friends or
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, didn't get to go. I mean, and of course I'm sure they would have like wanted to had we been there. They would definitely want like. And again, I would have. This is the kind of thing I would have wanted to go along for because I wasn't like into at all them dragging us through every city in Europe when we were taking vacation time. But I mean, they would have. I'm sure would have taken like trips to Japan or like try to get to Hong Kong if we could.
Tokyo, I gotta get to Tokyo. I'm thinking about going to Tokyo. I saw Batista. Says many pro wrestlers don't get the recognition and opportunity. He's 100% right. A lot of it has become some of them are not really good actors, but that doesn't, it doesn't. You can get developed in that. Like John Cena did not start very well, but he's gotten better. Dave Bautista put in the work, he got better. The problem is there's a stereotype, and where you had guys that did it earlier, like guys like Hulk Hogan, guys like that weren't very good, and they were considered just one-dimensional meatheads. I think. Just the two prime examples, the ones I just brought up, are Dave Bautista and John Cena. John Cena has improved. Just with Peacemaker alone, John Cena improved from Peacemaker episode 1 to the finale of that first season. There was more dimension. He got better just doing that season alone. Dave Bautista, every time you see Dave Bautista, he's getting better.
Oh yeah.
He's getting better. So yeah, I think if more guys like him do it, I think they will break that stereotype. South Korea, like I said, Tokyo is at the top of mine.
Yeah, it's like South Korea, like again, Hong Kong would definitely be one I want to go to. I'd love to see in mainland China. I want to visit the Shaolin Temple. I want to see the Shaolin Temple one of these days, and check that out. But yeah, Hong Kong would be a big one. And probably Tokyo. And well, such a big fan of the raid. I've gotten so interested in Salat. I definitely would like to take a trip to Jakarta. Check out Indonesia one of these days.
Yeah. Get the ransom letter ready. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
Thanksgiving Impact Theater. Yeah, I think we saw it in the Impact Theater. Okay.
What is turn out for me?
This? I know you love the Turtles.
Droga, what, Droga? It's interesting you say that because there's this. Apparently, there's. I've seen. I can't confirm or deny, but there's rumors, and I've seen like some indication there may be like this one mysterious dude who's like leading this clan of ninjas too in New York. I'm not quite sure about that, but I've heard rumors about that.
We need to cover the last one, by the way. We need to cover that this week. So
yeah.
All right. So, all right. That's it for this show. I think.
Yeah. We went down a rabbit hole too with deployments and all that, and me coming clean about. Okay, here's where I live, guys. I mean, I'm not giving you my address or anything.
Yeah.
But
not like me.
Yeah. Here's the town I live in. So maybe you drop in the Savannah sometime. Just hit me up, and it's like, we can meet.
Literally hit him up. Literally like kick him right. Hey, don't even shake his hand. You notice him? You recognize?
Oh, Aaron, if you want to come, if you ever come stateside, hit me up. It's like I'll bring you into the school.
Aaron, if you come stateside, you come to Savannah instead of Vegas. First of all, we're gonna have to have your head checked because everything. Brad, you come to Vegas, and Brad can come out here to visit you in Vegas.
It's getting. By the way, it's also weather-wise, it's also finally getting cooler here too. Because I had enough of that heat and humidity this summer.
Last day of the 100s is tomorrow, Monday, 86 degrees.
We're down to about mid-70s now.
I can turn the air off. Well, no, I still can't. But we're getting to the point where I can start turning the AC off and just clip to the fans. I've done it. I've made it to that point of year. All the good things that generally happen to me during the calendar year are going to happen now. We're going to get my hour back. That theft is over with. And much to the chagrin of the weatherman here in Las Vegas, we're still dry. We need more rain. I'm like, fuck you. This is the driest one in 7 years. And then he starts going over the historical numbers. And I'm like, you leave out last year, son. you're commiserating about how dry we are this year, but you're leaving out last year, and you just can't do that with me. All right. I don't care. Personally, I will find a way to get water. Defining anything you want. The waterfall coming through my roof, I'm okay. I'm okay. We had plenty of water last year. What did you do with it? I can tell you what I did with it. I filled buckets with it. So I want a dry, cold fall with weather that I expect when I live in a desert, not Portlandia. All right, I don't care. Well, we need what? No.
Yeah,
no.
Williams told me this too. It's cheap to fly to Vegas.
It's really cheap, dude. It's real. I was ready to pull the trigger because like I said, when you told me, and I understood, but I was ready. I had it ready. I was ready to fly. Like, okay, kick it with Brad, man. Brad, we're gonna need Zack Snyder. Pretty cool.
We'll do it. Again, it's Iron Man next time, baby.
I mean, like I said, I don't know when Zach's coming out here again, but who knows? But maybe we'll go to one of the things he does in California. But like I said, I don't know. I don't think they're doing anything.
Unfortunately, we have a con here in the convention center every year. It's gotten pretty sizable, and also I've been going at Jekyll Island which is about 80 miles away. I've been going to in December. They have a con every year, about last 9 or 10 years now. It's gotten pretty. We've got some big names out there too. So as far as like conventions, it's and then of course Tampa was the biggest one I've been to. We drove to that from here, my friend Mike and I. But Zach, hey, it's a historic city. Come on.
Yeah. So is Vegas. All right. That's it, guys. We will see you. Actually, I'm going to be streaming. Believe it or not, I'm going to be streaming Reyes here in Vegas. So I'm going to be taking some time off.
She's actually saying that.
Yeah. She will be here. So I'll have her streaming with me tomorrow, so she can
Oh, she's going to be on the show tomorrow?
Yeah, eviscerate me like she did last time when she's sitting behind me, poking me in the ribs.
No, custody battle ladder match. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Well, I understand you have a fun collection. Have you seen all the new release? Will you stock them? I try to get them. I don't order a lot of the new ones because you have to buy a certain amount of things that I don't think I can sell. So I try to work with other people to get them and split up the shipments. But yeah, in fact, I'm gonna take you on a tour tomorrow. For those of you who are new to the channel, most of you guys have seen them. But when Ray is here, we're gonna take you on a small tour. So we're probably going to stream tomorrow at about 9:30. So expect that. I can't listen. You guys in these panels, listen. I want you guys to watch our panels lately. I want you guys to watch our panels lately. Look at the transcripts. It's getting a little bit weird.
All
right?
We'll steer it back. We'll steer it back with stuff like Life After Fighting.
Yeah, no, they don't need any of that. They just need.
You can never have too much Life After Fighting.
It doesn't matter what the topic is. Things just get weird. You could be talking about climate. We could be talking about Star Wars. It doesn't matter. The panels lately, I don't know. You guys scare me. So yeah, we'll have to think about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Panel-thon. Oh fuck no. I try to get through one. How you doing? Yep, we've had no issues today.
We have a hell of a lot of viewers. With 118, which again, like final time we'll say is before we sign off here, with 101 of you watching via Twitter right now. Please come over, subscribe to subscribe to Cypher YouTube channel.
Scan this. Just take your phones right now.
Take that scan. That right there. Scan. You're on. It's all set.
If you're on your phone, youtube.com/center. It's really easy. You can click on there, and let's see if any of you guys are joined while I watch this. YouTube will not recognize that we're at 1100. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, but YouTube will recognize that Life After Fighting has more views than Disaster Movie.
Actually doesn't, but
yes, it does. I'm looking at it right now.
Let's see. Hold on. Where are we at here? You have 105. No, you don't. Go to the thing. Disaster movie, I don't know why, has 109, and Life After Fighting has 105. And don't get me wrong, there's clearly the better movie here. But I'm just telling you.
No, see, it says 109 right now. You have to click on the actual video because they have slightly different counts when you view it from the channel page versus when you actually click on the stream. But when you do it that way, like Life After Fighting is ahead as it should be.
Life After Fighting has 100 views.
Well, again, it's objectively speaking the superior movie. I mean, joking aside, William will absolutely agree.
That's not a joke. Yeah, so you got 109 on that one. And what is that the direct have?
Yeah. Oh, they're both at 109 right now. So,
Lord, one of them really doesn't need to be. I mean,
it doesn't.
In all seriousness,
disaster movies. Like, I mean, it is.
Our watch parties took a dive with that one, by the way, because we went from 225 with the creator. What did we watch? Oh, we watched that other one too. We watched
The Arrival,
no, not the Arrival. No, we haven't watched Arrival yet. It
was what was it? The one that
the Signal.
The Signal, yeah.
We went from 1 week to having 411 with Terminator double feature to
which means we split our audience to those two watch parties, which means Life After Fighting would have twice, if not triple, as many views, if not for everybody getting burned out, disaster movie, deciding, I got to come back and watch this later. That's the reason why.
No, I think we would have had in our max views if we'd have just done them all at one time.
Both South folk. I mean, it's like I was born in Savannah, and again, family was away.
Well, one of your parents has got to know exactly when both of you were born.
Oh, that's true. It's like, we're still pinning down the exact timeline, but again, it's either my dad went to Australia or it's like one of Aaron's parents came to Savannah. Circa 86.
Aaron has that baby face, though. I mean, I cannot believe she's only 1 year younger than you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people still think are surprised when they tell them I'm in my 30s.
Yeah, you're pressing 40 too.
Yeah, if I shave, it really makes a difference. If I let it grow out, I mean, it'll take 10 years off my face when I shave. If I grow a beard.
All right, guys, this is really it. I got to go. All right. We'll be here tomorrow at 9:30 from the center. I'll have Rhea with me, give her T-shirts and hats and stuff. I'll set up a mic for her so she doesn't have to sit behind me and stalk me like she did last time. All right. Any last words, anybody?
Try.
Okay. Any last real words?
Try After Fighting.